Guys, so in this video, we're going to dive into e-commerce. For those of you that have been kind of waiting around, you're like, when are we going to get into the physical product stuff? Well, this is it. This is the video. And this is going to be a big one, so you're going to want to take notes. You may want to watch this a couple of times. This is where we're going to dive into those. For those of you that have physical products, you're selling a physical product that you ship to somebody, they purchase it off of your website, off of your funnel, and you ship it to them. Right? So if you're selling a product directly from your website, typically this is going to be products that are $1,000 to $2,000 or less. Okay. If you do get into that, let's say it's over $1,000, then you're probably going to continue to use the process that we've talked about up to this point, which is getting somebody on the phone. You'd have a salesperson that's actually selling it over the phone, and then you'd ship it to them. But this is going to be for products that are automated, products where you sell them directly from the website. So we're going to look at the funnel. This is going to help you a lot. I think it's going to give you some perspective. For those of you that don't know, I've been a copywriter for years, but this is also an area where, I've coached a lot of e-commerce people over the years. I've worked with a lot of e-commerce brands. I wrote courses for some of the top e-commerce businesses in the country. So this is an area of expertise. I'm going to get kind of an overview in this video. I'm going to try to hit as many of the key points as I can, so you'll be able to just improve your overall results. So this is the product funnel layout, and I'll just go through it real quick. But you've got your different social media, your traffic sources. So this is representing your traffic sources, and from here, our traffic sources. What a lot of people make the mistake of, I'm going to just copy this little arrow here and just do a little doo-doo. So what a lot of people make the mistake of is that they send all of this traffic from their social media, from paid ads, all that stuff. They send it directly to like a cloudy website where the website's got all different kinds of products. Just be like Amazon sending their traffic directly to their homepage. Now, they're big enough, they can send people directly to their homepage and it still probably gets some results. But for most people, most of us, sending people directly to a full website is just not feasible. It's just not going to produce you the ROI that you're looking for. What we want is to limit distraction as best as possible. We want to disrupt what we call disruptive marketing, where we disrupt the person's train of thought and then we make them an offer, right? And so on your social media, when you're running an ad, and we'll talk about this, ads as well, but you're going to be running an ad that's going to disrupt them. They'll be in the middle of a scroll, and you've probably seen e-commerce ads in the past. I'm sure you probably get e-commerce ads. But you see how you're scrolling through, and then boom, you see the ad. Well, that ad, instead of sending them directly to a website, right? Biggest mistake I see. We need to be sending them to a product, a specific product page. And from that product page, we're going to take them through a process of checking out. And then as they're checking out, we're making an offer, a second offer, what we call a one-time offer, something that they can only get that time. It's a deal. It's a big opportunity, right? And then we will progress. So the very first thing is that you need to note here is that we are sending traffic to a product page. Now, I'm going to get into what the product page needs to look like. I'm going to kind of give you the breakdown of what you should be modeling, what things need to be on that page, and then so on and so forth, what the funnel looks like. But this is the overview. Product page, we're sending traffic to a product page. Then after that person purchases, we have a follow-up sequence that will automatically begin. Not hard to set up at all. And then from there, we're going to drop in a one-time offer. From that one-time offer, we're going to make a second one-time offer, if you can, right? The goal is always to at least do two. And so we'll have a second one-time offer, and that's it, and then a thank you page. And so I'm going to explain this a little bit more in depth as we go, but I'm going to start to break it down now, right? So you've got your ads. So we'll take YouTube, for example. We run a lot of traffic on YouTube. So I got a little YouTube video up here. So we've got our YouTube ad, right? Let's imagine that somebody is in in YouTube and they're watching one of their favorite channels. Well, then in the middle of that channel, what happens? Just like if you're watching TV, a commercial comes on. And we're all used to commercials. We've all had commercials for years, right? Anybody has had a TV, you have commercials. So the commercial pops up in stream. They have the opportunity to skip it if they'd like. So from there, once that ad connects with them, right? And we're not going to talk about ads in this video per se. That'll be, if you've gone through the copy videos, you've probably seen that already. But your ad is designed to hook their attention and then share a story that gets them involved with your ecosystem, with your product, with your idea, with your hero. We talked about the hero's journey, right? So you're now getting them interested. And as they get interested, you have a call to action where they then have the opportunity to click to learn more, where they click to see your product page. And so that's where we're going to jump into now. So product page, a couple of key elements, and I'm going to get into what it looks like. So we've got our product name, we've got our product here, and then down below there's going to be certain elements. It's a very simplified sketch, if you will. We've got our checkout to the right of the product, maybe multiple images here. We'll have below it a product description, product specs, and product demo videos, and there's going to be some more things. I want you to really think about this. Some of the best e-commerce brands in the world are the best because they know what people want. They've spent, many of them, billions of dollars testing this. So it behooves us to study what they do. It behooves us to get very, very clear on the elements that people want. And the reason, I want you to think about this. They have spent billions of dollars learning what people want, trying to understand what people want, trying to understand what makes people buy. What makes people click that add to cart button? What makes people click that buy now button? So we want to make our page as similar to something that's working as possible. And really it's from an elemental an element, I don't know if that's a word or not, but from an element perspective. So things like the headline, right? There's always a headline on a product page. So you want your product to have a good headline. This is really a product title or the product name, right, with some descriptors. Now, theirs may be a little bit more descriptive because they have a lot of products. I mean, imagine Amazon's a giant warehouse, if you will, of potential products. So this is a very descriptive product, but we're used to seeing that on Amazon. So it behooves us to give a lot of detail in your product pages, right? You see reviews, right? We see stars. We see 27,000 ratings here. So yours doesn't have to have 27,000 ratings, but it needs to have some stars, right? It needs to have some Q&A, some FAQs. What are the frequently asked questions about this product? It needs to have that element, right? I'll break this down in detail as we go. So you need a price, right? You need to have your shipping details, right? Where is this product going to be shipped from? How long does it take to get there? How long can I expect for it to take to arrive? How many do you have in stock? How many can I order? Can I order more than one? So these are all things that people think about when they're making a purchasing decision. Amazon has spent a lot of money trying to figure this out, and they're pretty dang good at it. So here's another product description page, and you can see they're all the same. Why? Because Amazon knows what works. Giant product image, and even if you were to scroll over this, you see there's a zoom in, so I can get even clearer on this image. So Amazon knows that giant product images work, right? Even with this one, you zoom over it and you can see it in detail. You see there's all these potential angles that you can see the product from. This one had it too. I just cut it off. But you see that you've got a lot of different elements on this page. And so these are really important. So let's start breaking them down. This is not that. Let's go product page. There we go. Okay. So like we said, specific product title. You need a specific product title. Your product title can be specific. It's okay. If you're selling a camera, you need to probably note whether it's a 4K camera or 1080p, right? Maybe it's only a 720. You need to note that people care about those things. What brand is it? Is it indoor? What type of camera is it? These are all the things that people want to know. So it needs to have some description in the title. Next is it needs to have clear, high definition images, product images. The more you can have, right? 5 to 7 seems like what a typical product on Amazon that is selling has, 5 to 7 really good images. You need to have those elements in there for people to be able to make that buying decision. People want to see it from different angles. They want to see the product and one of the things that I like, and you see all these are obviously in white with white background. Let's say you have a product that lends itself to a very specific community. So for example, I have a student that sells coffee. So if you've got, you're selling coffee, your product needs to be in the environment that your audience can see themselves using it. So imagine they're camping or they're hiking. Well, have a picture where it's out in the woods, where somebody is drinking coffee out in the woods, on a camping site with their family. Maybe get a stock image of something like that and have your product there in that image. So a lot of things that you can do to really make people, when they see the image, it should, you want to have some emotion to it if you can. At least on some of the images. So the very first images are just going to be of the product so that they can see the product up close, they can see it from different angles, and then maybe have some ones that describe the product. So images that describe the product can be really helpful because a lot of times we just buy with our eyes. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to read everything. Most of us don't. So we'll sit there and most people when they buy, they look through the images. They read through. If you got some descriptor images in there, that's going to help you. And so then what is the next thing that we typically look for? Reviews, right? So we want to have reviews, and those are by stars. And every e-commerce platform has the ability to put a little reviews element. So you're going to want to make sure that above the fold, right? What I mean when I say above the fold means that we haven't had to scroll it all yet. So you can think of this as above the fold. When I look at the teapot, this is above the fold. So I haven't had to scroll it all. These are the elements that need to be above the fold. So reviews or stars, you need to be able to see these above the fold. The other thing is a list price and a deal price. The list price is the price that it would normally be. A deal price is the price that it is today for them. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see we have a list price of $50.71. With the deal, it is $39.99 and free shipping, right? It says you save $10.72, 21% deal. So people love deals. People love being able to save money. So you want to have yourself a list price or a regular price and a deal always, if you can, right? And that's going to be really, really, I mean, we love buying deals. Ask any woman, we love buying deals. Women my wife, when she goes to a store that she really wants something from, if she finds something on a deal, she'll come to me and she'll be like, honey, it's 30% off or it's 40% off today. We got to get it now, right? That's how you get people to take action quickly. Shipping details. What's another thing that we look for? We look for the shipping details, right? So we see over here, we see $39.99 and free shipping. So I know without scrolling, I know all the major specs that I'm thinking about. Okay, what's the price? What's the price today? Am I going to be charged for shipping? No. Arrives, it tells me when it's expected to arrive. The delivery time, tomorrow, order within 2 hours and 33 minutes, right? It even puts down arrives before Christmas. So that'd be a little good thing to add in your website to make people feel comfortable, especially if you're doing something around Christmas time, right? So those are shipping details. Shipping details are necessary if you're going to be running a successful e-commerce business. So then we have quantity options. Every good e-commerce company gives you the option to buy more. And I want you to think about this. If somebody is there, why wouldn't they want the option to buy more, right? If they really like it, maybe they want 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So give them that option, right? Give them the option to be able to do that. So that's your quantity option. So make sure every page has that. Deals banner. So this is a banner that goes above the product but is below the search. So this is a banner, and this is a related product that is similar to what we're offering, but it is another option. It's something that, and notice how this one is $119. So you notice right out of the gate that this is more. This is priced higher. So, that may be, depending on what inventory you have, that may be a good option, is to have a deal banner up above the product image. And it's something that is related. So this obviously wireless smart home camera, this is also a home security camera. So it's just a little bit different copy, slightly more descriptive. So this is, if I was looking at home security and I'm looking at this camera here, I'm going to quickly notice that this says exactly what I'm looking for, even if they do the exact same thing, right? It's just the language that catches my eye, right? Because this image is not very big. This image is not like screaming at me, to click, but that right there does. Home security, $119, 4 stars, 90 reviews, 10% off coupon. So take note of that. Take note of banners that are above the fold. So then we have an add to cart button and a buy now button. I don't necessarily believe you have to have both of these. I think you can. Look, if Amazon does it, it does not hurt. So this is where if somebody wants to buy multiple things, now here's one caveat to this. An add to cart is going to be more of your store. What we're talking about is a product funnel. So keep that in mind. You don't necessarily need an add to cart. Your button could say add to cart and checkout, but you got to keep in mind is that we're only marketing one product in this design. So we're sending them directly to a product page, not to multiple, not to the front homepage of our website. We're sending them to the product page of a specific product that relates to them. That's what we're sending people to, not to our homepage. Okay? Let me make that abundantly clear. We're not sending people to the homepage. Don't ever do that, right? We're sending them to product pages. And those product pages, it's like when you go to a store, right? When you go to Walmart, or I'm just going to throw out Walmart, you're going looking for a specific thing, a specific item. That's what you care about, is that specific item. If you were to go on Amazon, most people care about a specific item that you're going there to see if Amazon has it or what they have available, what's similar to that. I'll be going to Best Buy later, probably tomorrow, to look for a specific item. And so that's how we shop. So the same way, we want to send them directly to a product page as opposed to the home page. So buy now, add to cart button, you can choose which one works best for you. Add to cart, I think it works well even in a funnel setting, because what do? They're going to add this to the cart, and then they can add this to their cart. And if they like, they can add this to their cart, right? And so add to cart, I think, is good copy even in this scenario. So try it both. You can do a buy now button, or you can do an add to cart, see which one works better for you. Now we've got a menu tab. You'll notice above the fold, we have a menu. And this menu, if you notice, is not just some random menu. It's also not, it's not things that are unrelated. Each one of these menus are related. So we've got cameras here. So what do we see? DSLR cameras. We see mirrorless cameras, lenses, point and shoot, sport and action cameras, camcorders. Those are all related. And so wouldn't it make sense that if we are sending somebody to a product page, let's say you do have some more stuff that's similar to this. Let's say you're sending them to a camera and you have other options. Well, why not? Put it into a menu up above, but it needs to be related. One big issue that I see is people send their customers, their potential prospects, to completely unrelated. They got a menu that's completely unrelated to the product that the person is landing on. So we want that to be related. So that's all I'm going to say for that. So final features that are above the fold. Okay, we got a search bar. A search bar is just so helpful. Now, again, this is there to every great web, every great storefront has a search bar. If the person is truly interested, they may search. Look, you're going to have most e-commerce businesses. You're going to have a full-on website where you're going to have all of your products stored, and we're going to be running ads to a product page. But that doesn't necessarily mean that person is finding exact. We want to leave the door open that if what we sent them to is not exactly what they want. So let's imagine that I send Jim. I've got an ad out on YouTube, on Facebook, on YouTube. Jim likes the camcorder. He likes the video cam that I'm marketing. But there's something about it that he doesn't like. Obviously, I'm not there to answer those questions. So let's imagine that Jim doesn't exactly think that this is going to suit the needs. So what's he going to do? He's got two options. He can either leave, or if I have a menu option and a search bar, Jim can search for what he wants. He can search for something that would make more sense to him, right? And thus increasing our likelihood that we get the sale. So that's why we need a search bar at the top. And we are used to seeing search bars at the top. So that's where it needs to go. All right. A couple other last pieces is we've got cart view. You can see where we've got the add to cart. That helps. Again, most every major e-commerce platform, you're going to have a view cart where you can see what is in your cart. That's helpful to have. The other thing is color, size, and options. Great thing to have, because let's say somebody doesn't like the color that the product is showing right here. Well, if you've got the option where they can choose the colors that they want to see, that's just going to increase your likelihood that they're going to buy from you and not somewhere else. Because what's going to happen if they don't, let's say they love the product. Let's say they look at this and they're like, man, that is a really cool gift idea, but I don't like it in black. But you don't have any other options on here. Then what are they going to do? They're going to go to Amazon and they're going to type that same thing in, and they're going to see if they can find it in the color that they want. So we want to try to give those options if we have that available. Certainly, if you don't have it available, that's different. But these are all just features that as e-commerce shoppers, we want to see, right? These are important things to have. And again, you may not be able to get all of these with the theme that you have, but you need to make sure you get the big ones. You need the reviews. You need the clear HD images. You need the deal price, the list price and the deal price. You need the shipping details. Really the main ones I've listed, but you need quantity options. You need your buy button. Obviously you'll have that. You may or may not have to have this menu tab. That's going to help if you can. You may not be able to do the deals banner. That's okay. Search bar, you may or may not have the search bar, but or the cart view, but you definitely have to have color and size options. So make sure you have those key elements. And then these are some more elements that are below the fold. Give me 1 second. I'm going to drink some water. These are the elements that we want to have below the fold. And this is just what we've come to expect as e-commerce shoppers, right? We've come to expect related items down below. And this is just something that you can use to increase your average cart or increase the conversion rate is really what we're doing here. This is the more options we give somebody. And what I mean by that is we want to keep them focused. So they don't need to be, notice we all see teapots. These are all teapots, right? This is one type of teapot. Maybe they like this design a little better than this design, right? We offered them this design, but maybe they don't like that giant black this side here. Maybe it's kind of strange to them. So maybe they like this idea a little bit better, where it's like the see-through glass, you know, or maybe they don't like that one, but they like the handle on top as opposed to the handle on the side, you know. So there's a lot of different reasons why somebody may make a decision, but we give different options. Maybe the price was not what they wanted, right? Well, this is $14.99. But maybe they want a little higher quality or something, who knows? But we offer a related products, related items in a banner down below. This is one where you can scroll. If you can have multiple items that are similar, then this is going to be really, really helpful, right? It's going to be really helpful to build up your conversions. So this is another reason. I'm going to say this too. This is a very, very big reason why you need to, as an e-commerce brand, you need to specialize in an area, in an industry. And it's because you cannot be the master of 50 different products, right? It's just not going to work. You're either going to have one of each. Like, let's imagine, you know, you're trying to be Walmart. Well, Walmart has millions of, well, I don't know about millions, but hundreds of thousands of SKUs, I imagine. Hundreds of thousands of SKUs. They've got options, but they also have a ton of capital to be able to do that. What we want to do is, let's say you're going to have a teapot. If you're going to have a teapot on your product funnel, your e-commerce product funnel, then you need to be the master of teapots. You need just a bunch of different kinds of teapots, right? And just sell teapots. Just sell this, right? And things that go with it. So you could sell, notice, what do you want if you sell tea? You're going to want tea, right? If you're selling teapots, you might as well sell tea. Well, and then there's some other things that you can sell to go along with tea, like spoons. You know, it could be specific kinds of spoons, teaspoons. It could be cups. It could be teacups. You could sell all different kinds of things, you know, quick water heaters, all sorts of kinds of things that deal with tea, right? But you're the store that sells the tea stuff, right? So if somebody says, hey, I got this really cool teapot, I got it off of the tea store, right? So when somebody goes to the tea store, they expect to find a whole bunch of stuff about tea. Make sense? So it's congruent. And that's what we want, is we want to keep it congruent. Now, a couple more things down below the fold. You're going to see product descriptions. Product descriptions are necessary because people want to know that what they're getting is what they're specifically. They want to make sure that the specs are what they're looking for. Some people care about this stuff, whether it's product dimensions, you know, especially if you're in clothing, which, you know, if you're in clothing, more power to you. There's a lot that you can do, but if you're in clothing, you need to make sure you have the specs on that clothing, the item weight, the manufacturer, the SKU number, where it's shipping from. All of these things are really, really necessary. All right, people like to know about these. So we're going to have our product descriptions. I'm zooming in and out to try to give you a better view on this. So videos about the product, right? This is, I think, are really underutilized. You know, we don't tend to make decisions in pictures. This generation, we tend to watch videos on products that we're interested in. So if you are on this page, how better to get somebody to be more comfortable I'll say it like this. We don't think in pictures, we think in video, right? We think in terms of moving picture, moving graphic. So how best to support somebody in making a buying decision than actually offering video about the product? So it could be a video demonstration. It could be people, you know, you could ask your customers, hey, do you mind doing a video review of the product? Like, you know, just show you getting it, opening up the product and your thoughts about it when you see it. You know, maybe try it out and shoot it on a video and let me know what you think and send it to us and we'll send you a free whatever, you know, just as an incentive, right? You could do that as an incentive to get these videos. You could also demonstrate it yourself, opening it up, showing people what it looks like, talking about it, giving them the product specs, and put these in a related videos tab And that's just going to help you so much more. It's going to give your customers so much peace knowing that they're doing business with a reputable source, with a reputable company, right? They want to feel that peace. And then again, we see product related images down here, other products that people bought. A customer FAQ or a Q&A, these are things where people are going to start submitting questions to you. And it would make sense that you put those questions that you've answered, you've taken the time to answer it for one person. So it's likely that somebody else is going to have that same question. So what do we want to do? We want to take that question and put it into a Q&A section on your product page where people, when they scroll down, if they've got a question, they can search through these and they can see, wow, maybe they answered it already. Or maybe, this is really cool. You can actually type. I'm going to zoom in. You can type in the question and search. Now, some widgets you can get, little things you can put on your website, your web page, to have where they can type in a keyword and it'll search for that answer. So this is a piece of code that you can put on your website. Now, you'll definitely find a lot of templates, website templates or product page templates that already come with a Q&A section that you can add. But this is just something extra. But yeah, definitely need a Q&A section. This is so important. I mean, one of the things I do, anytime I get a question that's being asked over and over, I put it on a Q&A section down at the bottom of my page, of my product page. Super helpful. All right, last couple of things. Customer images and more reviews. You're going to see where people, if you look on Amazon, you're going to see this is what people, when they opened it up, when they tried it out, this is what it looked like for them. And so people care about this. This is going to help them make that decision. And so not only are you going to see ratings, you're also going to see photos. And if you can put photos up where people are able to showcase that what the product looked like when they were opening it, what it looked like when they used it, and then their reviews, you're going to get so many more conversions just because of that. So that is really the key elements for an e-commerce product page. Now, a couple things that you can do. One thing I think is really important is having that video. I think like your sales video, having that front and center. I think obviously your product image is going to be the first thing that people need to see, but maybe two or three that, you know how you see, let me pull up the original one. You see how you've got multiple photos. So maybe not this one, or this one. These are photos of the product, but then maybe the third is a video. It's your sales video, right? That's going to be really helpful. People want to be sold. People want to buy. They don't want to be sold. But in a good video, they want, hey, make me want this. Like really give me a reason to want this. And this sales video will do that. If it's a good product, you should be able to do a good one of these. And we went over the copy for it. We went over the script for it in a different module. So back to the layout. So just as a recap, we're sending traffic directly to a product page, right? And you got the different elements on there. If you need a review, just go back through this video. But your product description, product specs, demo, the video, related products, all that stuff. Then from there, when somebody checks out, it's going to automatically want to send them to a one-time offer page. A one-time offer page. Now, here's what that will look like. So it'll look something like this. Again, rough sketch, right? But it's going to have like a wait. It's going to have a little warning, like a wait, your order is not yet complete, and then an attention-grabbing headline. And so this is just something to let them know, like, hey, stop, hold on for a minute. I'll typically tell them, watch the video down below while your order is processing. And then they'll watch a video, and this video is designed to sell your customer, because keep in mind, they are now a customer. Your video is designed to sell your customer on purchasing either something else or one more thing from you, right? And what this button would actually say, add to cart. It would say something more like, yes, add this to my cart. Let's make that bigger here. Boom, boom. There we go. So your button would say something more like add this to my cart as opposed to just checkout. Because that's what they're doing, is they're adding this second item to their cart. Now, what's going to be crucial about this is putting it in the right frame of mind. So why a one-time offer? Why is this so important? Well, number one, a one-time offer increases your average cart value. Oftentimes that first product that people see is typically not the most expensive product. It's typically something that is well priced or below market value a little bit to give it a deal, to get your conversions up. And then the one-time offer is designed to raise that cart value and raise that customer value, right? So if your front end product, so like if we look at the teapot, our front end product's only $14.99 right here. And that's fine, but the problem is if you are running paid advertising, so keep in mind, we're running paid traffic to that page. Let's say it costs you $10 to acquire that customer. Well, we only made them, as you can see, $4. We only made $4 or $5. And then if we're not charging for shipping, we see this is free shipping. Well, the shipping's going to easily be $4 or $5 easily. So now we just broke even, you know, and that's if we can acquire a customer for only $10. So if you need to do the math on that again, but the point is why do we do an OTO? A one-time offer is there to increase that average cart. So we may break even or even lose money on that front end product when we're running paid ads. But the one-time offer is where we make our money. That's where you're going to make more. And that's what's going to allow you to actually run paid advertising. The reason why we run paid advertising is because paid ads are the fastest way to grow a business. It's the fastest way to scale. So for these of you that have not taken advantage of running paid ads, maybe you didn't do it because you haven't had this stuff in place. But if you haven't done it up to this point, that may be the one thing that is stopping you from building a successful company. It may be the one thing. I truly want you to get that. Adding a one-time offer could change everything. And I cannot stress that enough. What your one-time offer also does is it gives the customer added value. So for example, when you go to McDonald's and you order a burger, well, McDonald's does not make money on that burger. They actually lose money on that burger. Where they make money is when they offer you fries and a Coke. How would you like fries and a soft drink with that? Fries and a Coke with that, right? That's what we're thinking too. Most of us, we like a drink when we order our meal, especially if we're going through the drive-through. You know, you get your burger and they ask you, hey, would you like fries and a drink with that? Sure, add that to my order. And so it's just that added value. It's better service, better customer support. They're treating you well. I mean, that's what we want this one-time offer to represent. So the one-time offer can either be a couple of things. It can be the next stage in the process or the next best thing. So for example, you know, if you're selling a burger, right, it only makes sense that fries would go with that burger. A drink would go with that burger. So in your business, in your industry, what makes sense as the next thing? If you're selling soap, custom soap, right? You know, there's a lot of people make custom soaps and things like that. Maybe we got somebody on here that does that. Wouldn't it make sense that you might sell like a loofah also to go with that soap, a special kind of a loofah or a special kind of scrubby, you know, or maybe bath bombs to go with that soap. You know, think of things that your customer may use along with that offer, along with your original offer, your first offer. And so those are some reasons. Now, one last thing you can also do is you could add, and this is really only for e-commerce, is you could add additional items for a big discount. So let's imagine that they bought one bottle of this really good energy supplement. So it's an energy supplement. And it's really, really, you know, let's say it was $49 to buy one bottle. Well, maybe as a one-time offer, you offer that same supplement, but a bigger version or more bottles. You offer 2 or 3 more bottles for just $40. So they spend the same amount of money as they did. So if you do the math, let's say the first one was $49. Well, you give them 2 more bottles for the price of 1. So that's one way that you can structure your one-time offer. Now, so we've got our first one-time offer, and they get the option to say, yes, add this to my cart. And then, so I actually want to keep these buttons because I don't want to get you too confused here. Boom. There we go. So then when they say on this page, yes, I'd like to add this one-time offer to my cart. So yes, sure, I'd love to have 2 more bottles of that supplement for the price of 1. Then OTO number 2, they get an option for a second one-time offer, something that they're only going to see this one time. That's why it's called a one-time offer. And that could be, again, that's probably not going to be additional, because if you do have this option, we'd probably exhaust this. Let's say, just imagine here, let's do some engineering, some marketing engineering here. Let's say this is a big offer for a discount. So let's say our first one-time offer is, hey, how would you like 2 more bottles for the price of 1? Well, this OTO number 2 could be the next stage. So if it's an energy supplement, whatever the next stage of that energy supplement, it could be something totally different. Maybe it could be something for alertness, or, something about focus, or maybe it could be a subscription. That's another thing you can do, is a subscription model where it's like, hey, here, for no money, or for $1, we can put you on a subscription where you get, maybe not $1, but you get where I'm going with this, is we put you on a subscription where you can get this every single month for just $20. So instead of you paying $40 like you did this time, because we know you're going to love it, instead you can get a subscription to this every single month for just $20 this one time. So total savings of, $30 a month, right? So that's a subscription that you can do. And of course, it helps if you have reviews and benefits, like you have some descriptors down below the add to cart to kind of prop it up. So that's some stuff that you can do. And so this is the product funnel. This is how it's done. This is how you create a scalable e-commerce business. If you've never been able to scale your e-commerce ads, my friend, this is how it's done. And I've worked with some of the biggest, baddest e-com guys in the world, and this is exactly how they do it. I've sat in on 5-day, $20,000 workshops, more of them than I can count. And this is the exact same stuff that they teach in those classes. This is obviously an overview. I would put you to sleep. We would be here for 4 more days if we went all the way. We're only at 43 minutes. But this is the overview of that process. So last thing that I want to go over is the follow-up. The money is in the follow-up in e-commerce. All right, this is where it's at. And here's why: because we are a nation, a society that gets distracted. We have busy lives. So we're not always going to be able to finish our order. So what do we need to do? We need to follow up. As the business owner, we need to follow up. And there's a couple of things you can do. Most systems are set up that when somebody puts in their name or their email, typically, you can do it in a couple of ways. There's certain systems where they put in their name and their address, their billing address first, and they submit that. So then they go to step number 2. And then in step number 2 is where they put in their card details. One of the benefits of that is that we've now captured their information. And by capturing their information, if they don't order, then what happens is we now can start to follow up. And there's 2 different forms of follow-up. There's SMS and email. And I put them in that order because SMS dominates. It absolutely dominates. And here's why: because it's got a near 100% open rate. 90 to 100% of people will open an SMS. It notifies their phone. It comes around with them. You can do SMS and it will be lights out better than email. Email is still great. I love email, but the difference is email has about a 10% open rate as opposed to a 90 or 100% open rate in SMS. So the system that you use likely has an option for you to do some sort of SMS abandoned cart sequence. And again, if I'm using language that's above, just take it in, write some notes, and we can talk about it some more. But cart abandoned sequence is really it's just your follow-up process. It's usually 2 or 3 days. Look, when somebody leaves their cart, let's say they don't buy, you're going to have a few follow-ups that may be like, hey, a couple hours later, hey, don't forget to finish your order. Maybe it's 1 hour later with a text message. I know we do one that's 1 hour later. Hey, don't forget to finish your order. Here is an incentive to finalize your checkout. Here's 10% off to incentivize you to follow up to finish your checkout. So you can offer incentives in that cart sequence. Now, maybe they didn't buy because the product didn't have something they were looking for, or maybe they weren't informed enough. They didn't have enough information about the product. So what can we do? We can send a second or a third email, maybe the next day, that teaches them a little bit more about the product. So we've got a couple of emails that inform them. Now, if they still don't buy, then they're probably not interested. And, you can do one more that's like a big incentive, like, hey, 30% off if you buy today, just one more push, right? And maybe hit it from a different angle, like one more push, 30% off, buy today. Then if they still don't buy, now it's been like 3 or 4 days now, what do? Well, that fifth email transitions to another product or a related product. So then what happens? I'm just going to copy these. Then we go into a brand new sequence. I'm going to copy this arrow. So then we're going to go into a brand new sequence, and we're going to start sequence number 2. This will be for a related product, right? And actually what I want to do, just imagine that from this one, it's going to be a new product page. So you got sequence number 2. Each of these emails sent the person back to the original product page. But now, let's say after 4 or 5 days, they haven't bought. So after 4 or 5 days, instead of trying to keep hammering this original product, which they don't want, then what are we going to do? We're going to transition to a related product and send them there instead. So this is going to be a second product, a different product page, something that maybe is in the same realm as what they were thinking. We don't want it to be off in left field. So for example, if they were looking at teapots, then I don't want to send them to baseball cards, the next day. Like, that's not going to make any sense to them. We're going to send them to related products. So if they didn't like the teapot, maybe we can send them to an artisan tea instead of tea. Maybe it's wine. My headline can maybe be like, hey, do you like wine? We got a really cool new something, a really new wine court. Hey, do you struggle opening wine bottles? It could be something like that. It could be for women. Like, hey, do you struggle opening wine bottles? Some men, I'm sure too. But yeah, so that is how we do it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This is a big video, so obviously you're going to want to go back through this. And as you're setting up your processes, as you're setting up your funnel, watch this video, implement step by step, and use it as kind of a checklist, a guideline, if you will, in setting up your funnel. Oh, one last thing that I think is really, really important. We want to use when we capture somebody's information, their phone number, their email, that sort of thing, we want to begin to start getting them onto other channels. And so one of the things that we've done that worked really, really well, I learned this from watching and studying other big name individuals in the space. But what we would do is we would take, once we get somebody onto our email list, onto our SMS, is we then send them back to our social media. So we send them to Instagram, we send them to Facebook, we send them to our YouTube channel, and we send them to specific videos in our YouTube channel. And what does that do? That pumps up your social media presence. And what does that do? That increases the amount of traffic that will inevitably go towards your product funnel. So it's a giant circle, right? It's a giant, giant circle. And so I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that is exciting for you. This is something very doable. This is not hard to set up. Most systems come with each of these options and are pretty much clicks of a button, and you'll be able to start building this out. And so hope you got some value out of this, and I will see you on the next video.